In today's video, we're going to be discussing an extremely important topic, and that is how do you stay positive and have faith even when it's hard. Okay, things are not going to always be easy on the way to our manifestation. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys tips and tricks about how to stay positive, how to keep your faith even when it seems impossible or like your manifestation is just not going to come. Hey everyone, it's Lauren. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything having to do with psychology, manifesting, and the law of attraction. So if you're watching this video, maybe you're going through a very tough time emotionally, or maybe you're starting to lose faith in your manifestation, or starting to think that it's never going to happen. Okay? Or maybe you're just feeling like nothing actually ever works out for you in your life. We've all been through these times, and yes, they can be really tough, but I'm going to share with you guys today my 11 best tips about how to stay positive and how to keep your faith even in the most challenging times. Some of these tips are going to help you with negativity. Some of them are going to help you build your faith, but every tip can help you through a circumstance in your life or through your manifestations. So stick around and make sure that you also comment down below which tip is your favorite. So the first tip I have for you guys is to understand that this situation is temporary. And I know that this bad period or this terrible feeling or this bad state can feel like it's just gonna go on forever and ever and ever. But I'm here to tell you that that is literally impossible. So sometimes we just need to hear somebody tell us that this is not gonna go on forever, that this is gonna end shortly. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to tell you guys that. So whenever you get into that vibe and it just feels like this is going to be a permanent thing in your life, it's not going to be a permanent thing. It's a temporary, difficult moment. And all we need to do is persist through this difficult time, and you'll see that on the other side. The second tip that I have for you guys is that events don't actually cause our unhappiness. It's our thoughts about those events that do. So it's really your thoughts that are causing any kind of unhappy feeling or feeling of negativity or hopelessness that you have right now. I know it can feel like these emotions or negative feelings are coming out of completely nowhere, but they're not. They're coming from thoughts that are kind of playing on repeat in our mind. And very often these thoughts are coming from old subconscious patterns that we have in our mind. And that is what is allowing us to feel this feeling of negativity or hopelessness in the moment. So what happens is we have a thought and then we immediately accept that as truth. And because there is no delay time between the thought and our acceptance of it as truth, we tend to get all these negative feelings about that thought or belief, and we just don't know where they're coming from, but actually they're coming from any thought that just popped into your mind and are needing to accept it immediately as the truth. So just having an awareness of these thoughts that are coming into our mind and creating these feelings about ourselves, about our situation, about our manifestation makes all the difference in the world to overcoming those feelings. So there actually is a very common theme that I see for thoughts of hopelessness or unhappiness or negativity towards the manifestation. So the first one that I see is thoughts about inadequacy, that you are somehow not good enough in some way. The next theme that I see are thoughts of rejection, so that you are somehow not loved or wanted in some sort of way. Then we see thoughts of hopelessness, that you cannot do, have, or be what you want. And then thoughts of lack of purpose, that you are somehow not useful or meaningful in this life. And I'm sure that the list can go on with all types of different thoughts, but be aware of these main thoughts, because these are the thoughts that I see as the biggest blocks to manifestation in general. This is why it's so helpful to have a daily meditation practice or a daily self-love practice, because it helps to counteract these thoughts and feelings. Another thing that really helps is to have the fundamental belief that there is always a solution to everything, and that everything does eventually resolve, no matter how bad it may look right now. Okay, and to understand that the universe's ways are greater than our ways. If we look at the quantum manifestation perspective, we see that there are actually infinite numbers of ways for us to get to our desired outcome, to our desired manifestation. And we really have to have enough humility, enough humbleness, if you will, to understand that we cannot possibly know all the paths or all the ways in which something can happen. It is beyond our knowing. The paths to our destination or to our desire or to our manifestation are actually infinite, and we have to allow the universe to give us that, to deliver that to us. So this is one of my favorite techniques. It's called zoom out, okay? And yes, it's kind of like when you're using Google Maps and you can just kind of do this and zoom out. 1 minute be looking at a restaurant, and then you're zooming out, and you're looking at the Amalfi Coast, or you're looking at the whole universe. So this is what I want you to be doing with your perceived problem, with this perceived moment of hopelessness or negativity, is to understand that we can actually zoom out. So our perspective becomes very, very limited because we are actually within the situation and we are very attached to the outcome. So when we're in the situation, it just looks completely hopeless. Ask yourself, how would an outsider look at my perspective? How would someone in a different city look at my perspective? If I zoom out to my whole country, how does this problem now look? Or you can think of it in a time way. You can zoom out time-wise. On the timeline of a month, is this going to be a problem? In the timeline of 2 years, is this going to be something that I worry about? So I literally do this. You can actually just imagine yourself zooming out and doing this. And this little motion helps you to understand that, yes, there is a resolution to your problems. And yes, it is a lot about the perspective that you're in at that moment that makes it feel so hopeless or so desperate. If you guys are already familiar with my channel, then you're already familiar with the fact that I just love affirmations, and I think affirmations can be completely life-changing because they reprogram the subconscious mind. So yes, you guys should definitely have a list of affirmations that you go to that are general, that have that help to strengthen your belief about what it is that you're trying to manifest. I love affirmations such as everything is okay as it is right now, and everything is working out for my benefit, that the universe has your back. These kinds of affirmations really make all the difference, and yes, they help you get through that difficult time so you can stay in that positivity and you can really just keep on the road to the manifestation. This one is super important, and that is that you should be keeping a list of your manifestation wins in advance. Okay, so what do I mean by that? You should be writing down all the different wins and all the ways that you've actually made progress in your life through your manifestations, whether you manifested just a cup of coffee or you manifested something much bigger. We tend to fall back asleep and fall back asleep and fall asleep again when it comes to our manifestations. And so therefore, we keep forgetting our power and our ability to change and control our life and our circumstances. So when you keep a list of all of these wins, you can always refer back to them in those difficult and trying times. Now, I know that some situations are very difficult and really they test your subconscious mind, they test your emotional state. So if you can't be positive, and that's fine, we don't always have to be positive, the best thing is to try to just be neutral. Okay, so try not to get too emotionally engaged in the situation. If you have to get emotionally engaged, if you feel angry or upset or just want to cry, then do it. And then once it's done, just try to move to a neutral state and then later to a positive state. That's the easiest way to do it. So when we remain neutral, it's kind of like we're suspending our judgment, and we just say, I'm not going to judge whether this situation is good or bad right now. I'm going to give this situation some time to resolve, and I will come and check back on it later, and I will worry about it later. You don't need to worry about every situation in the moment just because it seems like you should. You can actually give it time to resolve itself and check back in on it later. My next tip is acceptance, and accepting the situation is actually very important. A lot of people's first instinct is to deny and to fight the situation because that's not what they want to be happening. But denying the situation can cause a lot of resistance. And I have found that the best position to take to limit the amount of resistance is to accept the current situation. And just because you accept the current circumstances, it doesn't mean that you can't have your outcome, and it doesn't mean that those circumstances can't change. You are just saying to the moment that you're releasing resistance, you're just letting it be how it is. And yes, circumstances don't matter, so those circumstances can still change even if you accept them. And of course, the next tip is gratitude. The key with gratitude is having a daily practice of gratitude and not just trying to be grateful in the moments where you feel terrible, because honestly, that is very hard to do. When you practice daily gratitude for even the smallest things in your life, it's a great way to prevent falling into that feeling of hopelessness to begin with. Daily gratitude is then shaping and molding your perspective on life overall. So therefore, it keeps you more positive throughout the more difficult situations, and we don't get on that roller coaster of emotions. And this is actually my favorite tip, and that is to know what makes you happy. Okay? Your happiness is nobody's responsibility, not your specific person, not your partner, not your family, not your friends. Happiness is an inside job, and this is something that you need to be responsible for and really know what actually makes you happy. So I recommend right now that you go and make a list of 100 things. Yes, that's right, 100 things, not 90, not 80, 100 things that make you feel happy. So that way you can always refer back to the list. Because when you're feeling down, you're going to feel like nothing can make you happy, nothing can raise your vibration, nothing can raise your spirit. So we have to be prepared. So for for me, just to give you an example, things that make me happy are playing songs on my guitar, going for a walk, getting a massage, listening to my favorite stand-up comedians, and really it could be anything, but think of 100 things that really just raise your spirit and raise your vibration so that you can refer to that list when you need it. And the key is really preparation, because in the moment you're not going to feel like those things are going to make you happy. You're going to feel like that negative feeling is going to go on forever, but it's not. That's why you take the 100 things and you post it on your wall, so when you really need it, it's there for you. And this last one is really great for switching up your vibration when you're feeling kind of down, and that is to switch up your routine. Do something completely different than you normally do. So it really can be the smallest thing. If you normally drive to work in a very specific way, take a completely different route. If you normally go from school back to your home, stop at the park. Any kind of small switch in your routine is going to make a difference in the way that your brain views your life. So the minute your brain sees something happen different in your life than what it's usually used to, your brain thinks, oh, maybe things are different now. So even the smallest little difference in your routine can make a huge difference in your vibration. So if you made it to the end, comment down below which of these tips is your favorite and which one is going to help you out. And that way in the future, you also remember, yes, this is something I can do when I'm feeling down, not positive, or feeling hopeless. If you love this video or you just love this perspective, please remember to comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this video on Facebook or Instagram. In the meantime, I'm going to post 2 more great videos for you guys over here and over here. And I will see you guys in the next video.